Okay, so hi. Today we're going to be editing these Alice and Domini design skirt images. Now this is my second attempt at this because the first time I did it, to get to this point, it took me 45 minutes. And with editing and all that sort of carry on, I was just a bit like, holy heck, it's going to be faster to do it again. So I've picked out a few images, and we're just going to quickly go through those, take a look at the things I do to bring the images into line. Like as you can see, they look like a real set here, even though they were taken from different directions, stuff like that. And we'll start here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to have to do is, as you can see, we've got a history of exports and stuff like that here. We're going to go back to the import. So as you can see here, it's, it's not overly different. It's just we've got a lot of color correcting or stuff like that to do. So just quickly, normally in here, I would just start with this image is quite bright, so I'm going to bring the exposure down a little. Normally when Kel's taking my photos, I prefer them to be underexposed than overexposed, because for anyone who knows a little bit about photo editing, you can bring up shadows and stuff like that, especially when you're shooting in RAW. But recovering something that's been clipped and is fully white is almost impossible, because that info is just not there anymore. So I'm just going to crop this in while I'm talking. Now I've actually brought this in further than I did in my original edit, just because with these photos I really didn't end up with a lot of images of the full outfit. It was just one of those days and we couldn't get them. They were blurry. So we'll do a nice close crop there. As you can see, there's a few things down here that are driving me a bit insane. So we're going to head up here and grab the probably the heel brush. Let's start with that. Bump it up a little. Give it a bit of feather, and the opacity can stay at 100% because I don't want it to be see-through. Just going to paste out this section. Okay, it's done a pretty good job of finding a matching section. Sometimes that's not always the case, but as I don't want to be picking up a leaf and dropping it over here, we'll just pick a new one. And now, speaking of the leaves, I'm just going to get rid of those, but I need to bring down the size of this brush a little. Now, I predominantly do this just because it's distracting to have these things in the foreground. This was quite a dirty shed floor at our local showgrounds, so there's a lot of things here that will catch the eye as you go through. Another one are the yellow lines of the basketball court, and we'll deal with those in a moment. I'm pretty happy with this. I might just get rid of those quickly. That's actually not bad. I thought that was going to be way off. Okay. Righto, that'll do us to start here. And now I'm going to head over and deal with that yellow line. Just using my color panel here. Now I prefer to stay in the singular color. So I'm going to go to yellow. Just going to check and see if it's throwing on any other areas. It is lighting up a little bit. Hang on, let me put that to 100%. See how this threw a little bit of yellow at 100%? But I'm pretty confident I can take that down without impacting my skin tone too much. Because, as you can see here, I'm in the red category, which is quite common for me. Pinky red and Oompa Loompa orange. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with my skin tone. I don't think there'll be any greens. Nope. Aqua. Nope. and blue. Now we do have a bit of blue reflection, as you can see there. Now this is just a light thing and you could leave that, there's no problem. I usually end up adding a bit of blue to my pictures anyway, blue and magenta. But for the sake of actually editing for the blog, I actually like to reduce that blue so we've got a true black here. Okay, any magenta? Doesn't look like it. Oh, that was purple, was it? Close enough. And no magenta, so we just leave that go. Okay, I'm going to leave the sharpening as it's set here and just bring up the luminance a little. My Fujifilm camera has a tendency to, in low light, sort of pixelate a little. Now we're going to come up here. I'm pretty happy with most of this, but I want to, I think this is what they call crushing the blacks. And bring the whites down a little bit. And then we're just going to deal with it up here a little. So as you can see, I want to make the blacks nice and strong, but I'll bring the detail back by increasing the shadows. So strong blacks. Now, nice strong clear whites. Let's see what these highlights are doing. Let's leave those up there as well. A tiny bit of contrast. Bring the clarity down a little. Just because, wow, it's more flattering. And I'm pretty happy with this in terms of a color tone. And that image is pretty much done. So let me just slide this out. Probably should have been in full screen. Let's just hook that up for a sec. Much better. Okay. So as you can see, when I click through to the one that was done before, oh yeah, we've got a little vignetting there just to make it a little more dramatic. So let's go ahead and do that. Just down here, enable lens corrections. My Fujifilm camera and lens isn't in here, so the closest to mine, which is the 35mm 1.4, is this one. Just going to go with that, but then I can use this to bring the vignetting back in or take it out, I think. So let's put that in. Distortion just deals with lens distortion. It's not actually to distort the actual image in any real way. It just corrects stuff that's already there. Okay, so I think this got brought down a little and the blacks were... Anyway, it's a nice clear photo and I'm not that worried about getting us back to this real moody black because, well... and normally then, so I would export at this point, my filter that I use for my Instagram is a Visco filter and it's A5. So normally if I'm using it in the app, I wouldn't use it above 5 or 6. So when I bought the mobile presets pack for Lightroom, I pretty much only use the A5 raw, as you can see, and that's at the half strength. So it's changed these curves a little here. And because I've got my black pulled down so far, that's where you can start to see it looks similar to these ones, just a little more magenta. And I can bring that back up just to give that back. Righto. And that is pretty much that one ready for Instagram. So if we took it back to undo that preset, we end up back here at the beginning, which again, I'm pretty happy with. I haven't even sort of done anything with a full S-curve here. So, my bad. The computer's been quite slow today. Can't be the computer, it's probably the internet. So that, my friends, is how I edit in Lightroom.
kind of movie love, hoping for some more of anything that comes along. Oh, forever high above, the kind of feeling of letting go and go free